Hey guys, Bolt here. So, time to get back to the Lost Pages. Um, so to kind of do like a little quick summary, PG-13. This is a what if, like, say Netflix or something took Dragon Ball and kind of made it a more modern day. So a lot of the more perverted jokes can't pass. Making it PG-13 that way, blood and some swear words can be used. Um, the biggest things that I kind of set up, well, one, back to the Netflix thing, I'd give 8 episodes to maybe 16 episodes to finish up a saga or an arc. Um, and then, like, to make things quicker, say the world tournament happens, the gimmicky fights slash the ones that are kind of weak and it's just because they have some kind of little weird thing they can do. I just did like a quick. I was like, hey, let's just make it a like slideshow that these fights did happen, but they didn't take precedence over the rest of the episode. Moving on to the actual story. So a lot of OG Dragon Ball went the way it was supposed to in the original story. Only things I really changed was one, Goku has learned to be smarter, so he's about a high school level by the time the Saiyan Saga happens, because he was around people that are smart like Bulma and Kami. He also learns to understand social cues. Like, he isn't like the whole Dragon Ball Super not knowing what a kiss is. Being around people that would explain what it is, he gets to learn as he goes. So it's not just some musclehead that knows fighting. And also he's shown to have a brain on him in several moments, including OG Dragon Ball and the Android Saga with him turning Super Goku and explaining mass for strength versus speed with certain forms. I also tried to nail things like relationship building, character development. Like Yamcha, Master Roshi would eventually turn to the people we see in Z, where instead of a hermit, Roshi would be a master again. Yamcha would no longer be a criminal, become an actual Z fighter. Same thing with Tien and Chatsu, as they would see the dishonorable in the Crane School and eventually move on to their own way. One of the biggest things that came out of OG Dragon Ball rewriting was Lunch/Launch getting a permadeath. Because I killed them off in the Aurelie special. And then because the Namek Saga doesn't happen for a few years, I gave the rule of after a few years they can't be resurrected. So because it's more than 2 years before Namek Saga that we get back to just the 23rd World Tournament, which is Piccolo versus Junior versus Goku. She's dead forever. And it's to kind of show that, hey, if they can't use the Dragon Balls or they die more than once and something comes up, they can't be wished back. There are some deaths that I may keep them in the afterlife because it is not natural or that person decides to move on. Like I said, in 8 to 16 episodes, so a lot of fights were 2-parters, or they kind of sped up a lot of the fights because they were pretty simple for the character who was fighting in them. Oh, wow. And then moving on to, like, the middle part of OG to Z, I kind of made it to where you would see the escalation of relationship with Goku and Chi-Chi. You'd see a little bit of, like, understanding of how they became a more recognizable couple. Then you kind of also seen kind of the story of how Gohan got his name early on, because I think only in the Cell Saga you got to see the flashback to the little sit down and figure out what his name would be. In this one, it's kind of like they get married, they have a little bit of their own little adventure before settling down with their newborn son. I also threw the World's Strongest to kind of like show the aftermath of the relationship between the Turtle School. And then Dead Zone was mostly, well, actually, both villains were to set up things like Dr. Gero, where there's people out there that have their eyes on the Z Fighters and are going to come out of the darkness eventually, or Dead Zone, where it's another dimension, so there's a lot bigger of a universe here, which is the whole reason for Dragon Ball Z. Going on to Z, Raditz is no longer the brother of Goku, and I set up to where Turles from Tree of Might is the older brother of Goku, because it makes more sense because they look similar. They also have a better idea of what it means. We get a little bit of like reference to certain dubs with like originally Bardock in a certain dub was a scientist. Why am I yelling so much today? But I turned it to where Gine was a scientist, but, well, not just a scientist, but she was a researcher that wanted to save lives, but because of the same race's morals and all that, they really don't give a crap about another living being, so her research went to crap. So, and she being a non-fighting in battle wanting Saiyan, she's kind of a laughingstock, but she does naturally fall in love with Bardock, which is another weird thing for Saiyan culture, but yet it happened. And then I set up to where Bardock, among very few others, are known as a middle class, which is more of a general to the lower class. So they are respected for the lower class, and they're kind of the go-tos. Come on! I'm getting, like, this. I hate it when I yawn so much, because it breaks up my stuff so much. I also kind of set up a divine tree. I set up, let's see here, training. Oh, I set up Lord Slug. Before we go to Namek Saga, it's the reason, because Goku getting injured in Lord of Slug, that it throws off his adventure to Namek with the rest. So because of his injuries, he can't go. And also I made it to where Gohan would be the one to take down Lord Slug, very similar to what DKP got killed by Kid Goku. Kid Gohan did the punch through him. This way, Gohan looked like someone to like pass the torch onto. I did want to like hit up a lot of the points of just Gohan is like setting up the scholar background to it, and like it emphasizes, hey, Gohan is not no like full on warrior. Like he will protect what he loves and will protect for the greater good, but he's got a career path. Come on! These yawns need to get out of my system. Let's see here. So Tree of Might, we get to see Turles. So it's basically Raditz, Tree of Might, the normal Nappa and Vegeta. Oh yeah, and Gine was the one who created the false moon in this rewriting. let's see here. It also explains the tale of Saiyans when they are before they become an adult, so 18, or whenever a Saiyan would mature. They can grow their tail up to a few dozen times in a year, where once they become an adult, it kind of sits in their like spine column and it grows, and it depends on how healthy that person is, and just how quickly it can redevelop, because it can be pulled out and be used again, and create the connection to the great ape. But if you pull it out too early, it kind of is very it is very weak. The muscles aren't properly thing, so it becomes a huge weakness if you pull it out at the wrong time. Let's see here. I make it to where like the teasing of stuff, like certain moves, like the Kaioken and the Spirit Bomb. Oh yeah, Goku does learn about his parents because of him being in the afterlife. King Kai explains what Turles. Come on! What Turles explained of just, hey, because I'm your big brother, I know about our parents. Because even though I was young, I still have memories in them. It made it to where Goku has a better understanding connection to his roots. It is the whole reason why he spares Vegeta, because he does have he has some roots in the Saiyans, and also doesn't want to kill off what could be the last of his race. Come on. I also wanted to set up that Chi-Chi isn't a complete cold wife. Because at the very end of the normal Saiyan saga, Chi-Chi would run past Goku, get Gohan, and leave the rest of the normal Z fighters to help and care for Goku. But in my story, instead, Chi-Chi, once she learns that her son is safe and just out cold because of exhaustion, makes sure her husband's okay. Once Goku's in the hospital, everyone from OG Dragon Ball who had survived comes to make sure he's okay because he saved them. It's like, hey, are you okay? Our hero, our friend, Ader, Nam, and then Lord Slug happens. Kind of hints at Super Saiyan, because that pseudo Super Saiyan still exists, but it's kind of a burst thing. It's not really something that he stays in. So once the pseudo Super Saiyan wears off, Goku's back to being injured. Kid Gohan goes into full rage mode and kills Lord Slug. And then we kind of get into the travel to Namek. And we do have a lot of Team Fortress reference, not Team Fortress, Team 4-Star references. Like when Dr. Briefs asks Goku about the design for his ship, he says include a muffin button. Alright, now moving on to the Namek Saga, which is the whole reason we are here. So episode 1 is setting off to Namek. Krillin and Kid Gohan do image training. The Z Fighters are training with King Kai. Goku, let's see here. What did I say here? Oh, he shows Iroh energy. So from Avatar: The Last Airbender, Iroh during his imprisonment from the Fire Kingdom, he does like push-ups and workouts to become like ripped. And I think Goku wouldn't stop training even though with his injuries. It's just once he can move a muscle, he will use that to try to train while being injured. Let's see, Vegeta made it back to the Frieza Force planet, or like one of their main bases, and he wakes up, showing that he'll be a part of this saga. And the very last scene is him heading to Namek to show, explaining that Frieza's on his way and all that, kind of explaining that this force that he's a part of, the higher ups are heading there, and he'll be a reoccurring person in this saga. Episode 2 is landing on Namek. Dodoria and Zarbon are by themselves. So in the opening village, normally it's Frieza, Zarbon, and Dodoria. They're trying to figure the Dragon Balls. In this one, it's normal, but there is no Frieza. Frieza is on the comms talking to Zarbon and Dodoria, but we do not hear their voice. They just get, it's like on one side of a phone call, and it's Zarbon confirming with Frieza what he wants done. So it goes like normal, it's just Frieza is not shown here, because I want Frieza to be a building tension point. Because he's supposed to be this big, bad person that's above Vegeta, that's above all these other people that are extremely strong. It'd be nice to have that building tension throughout this saga. Let's see here. So yeah, like Zarbon will be like, "Yes, Lord Frieza, I've got it handled." So we do get the Dodoria chase. He gets found out by Vegeta, and I would like to throw a Team 4-star in here by Dodoria being a female, and Vegeta would eventually get her while in the chase of Krillin and Kid Gohan. And then by this time, Goku is healed and is heading to Namek. We get to see some of the gravity training. So we kind of get to see a very quick summary of his training through the ending of Episode 2. Episode 3 is Dende, the child they saved from the Mori village, which is the elder of that first village. The Z duo is what I'm going to call Krillin and Kid Gohan, to make it quick. With Dende able to kind of tell them where Guru and Nail are with the 1-star, and they also have a power-up there. And we take Krillin to go get the 1-star Dragon Ball and to get the power-up. So he has a power boost in this. Gohan gets, because Dende is able to show them where the 1-star is, they can use the Dragon Radar to get the Vegeta Dragon Ball that he finds in that one village. So it's normal. We have the Vegeta and Kid Gohan interaction. But before he can do anything, Vegeta's the only one out in the open. So Zarbon sees him, brings him into a fight. He wins. Vegeta's apprehended and is brought back to the Frieza ship to heal. Episode 4, Gohan goes to go see Guru to get a power-up. Vegeta recovers, kills a pool. He distracts Frieza, who's yet in the smoke. You can see his little pod that he's hovering. I would probably say he can. Hold on. Where was I? So you can, I'm trying to remember what Inspector Gadget was doing, but like his villain, you can only see the hand. I would show that. Like you can see his pod through the smoke, and then his hand is kind of showing that he's getting a little antsy about what's happening. We still don't hear his voice, but just like the slow tapping, suggesting that he's starting to get annoyed. Let's see here. Vegeta gets the Dragon Balls from them while they're distracted. He beelines for Gohan. Zarbon comes in to fight and take them, but he gets overdone very quickly. Zarbon does mention that the Ginyu Force is coming, which at the end of the episode they feel the 5 energies, very strong energies coming down. And we get to hear their name from Vegeta at the very end of the episode. Episode 5 is them getting introduced. They explain the height in the Scouters, which actually just sense any kind of life. Like they don't. Alright. And it's basically like it can be one like energy point because no life form can just be 0. So you can lower your power level, but it will still show that you exist. So the high levels are supposed to have a higher level cap, but they also show like they lock on to almost everything in the area. So think of vats from Fallout, where you can just sense everything that's around you by going into vats. That's what the high-level scouters kind of do, is by saying, here's everything that is living that even has a single power cell in it. Or like one level. And then... that way they can find any Namekian survivors, find out where any Dragon Balls are. They also Frieza at this point thinks that there might be like information needed, so they are gonna hunt down Namekians, which kind of has Frieza go hunting for Namekians, which he's on the trail of Nail and Guru thanks to the high level scouters. The forces run into our main group. They take the Dragon Balls. Ginyu heads for Frieza. They fail to activate, which puts Frieza in like a mood of just, hey, what's happening? Why are they not activating? So that puts him on the goal to go find Guru and Nail. The Guldo fight is the main part of this episode, where they fight, they do the paralysis, but he gets killed by Vegeta at the very end, which sets up Raccoon fight. Episode 6 is the Raccoon fight, and it looks like he's about to die by the Raccoon cannon. But episode 7, which 7 is a very big number in Japan, Goku comes in for the elbow to the gut, defeating Raccoon, quickly fights Burter and Jace, defeats Burter. Vegeta kills Raccoon and Jace, and Burter. Jace runs off to Ginyu, and they switch bodies, and at the very end of the episode, Frieza arrives at Guru's, and Nail is looking at him. And so we're still hiding Frieza. So episode 8 is the fight of Goku Ginyu, and it's basically the entire remaining Jace Ginyu, the whole like setup. And basically, the fight ends, Goku gets put in the thing, and very last minute, Krillin, Gohan, and Dende go to wish for Piccolo, and for him to get put back on the planet. Vegeta and Frieza notice the dark skies. Nail is nearly dead. That's how we know that we're looking at Frieza. and we see his tail whip down at anger that something's happening. Vegeta explains what their conclusion is. They both rush to the scene. Vegeta tries to get his wish off. But Guru dies, he's heartbroken at the death of the Namekians. And Guru has heart problems, so the balls turn to stone. And at the very end of the episode, Frieza is revealed. So basically, episode 8 is the ending of the Ginyu Force. Goku's healing. Frieza has almost broken Nail. Vegeta and Frieza are heading for Purunga and our heroes. Vegeta tries to make a wish, but because of the death, Guru dies to heart problems, and Frieza is finally revealed at the end of the episode. Episode 9 is First Form Frieza versus Vegeta. Piccolo and Nail are merged, and the second form of Frieza the transformation is starting, so you can see the horns at the very end. Episode 10 is Second Form Frieza. Episode 11 is Third Form, and then episode 12 is Final Form. Basically showing how much of a savage he is by killing Dende and almost beating the heck out Vegeta to his last few breaths. And then episode 13, Goku shows up yet again. We get the whole explanation from Vegeta. Frieza kills him, points out that Goku is most likely the son of the person who stand against him, getting to foreshadow what happened to Bardock. Let's see here. Oh wow, okay. So this one's a pretty packed episode. So it's just Goku showing up, Vegeta explains, Frieza explains. They get into the fight, and even though everyone thinks Goku's broken at this point, he's pushed, he's beaten down very quickly in this episode. That way we're not on several episodes of build-up to know yes, Goku starts out pretty good, but King Kai quickly points out that he's using times 20 to keep up, but he's failing, and because of his constant use, he's using a lot of energy, which makes him lose very quickly. And we get into the Spirit Bomb. He uses it, we have Frieza reveal again by saying that he's alive, shooting Piccolo, and Krillin looking up at him. And at episode 14, we kill Krillin within the first few minutes. Super Saiyan transformation. We see the Great Ape flash, kind of like how Kid Goku's Great Ape fist. We see that when he's transforming, the snap, when a lightning hits. Great Ape shows up for a few seconds. Well, his face gets flashed over with the Great Ape. Show the inner power and the connection of it. We see the full power fight. We see him destroy the core. And then they're going into desperation mode. Episode 15. Mr. Popo using the Dragon Balls, and now that Piccolo's alive, he can use the Dragon Balls. He brings back the Namekians, which brings back Guru. So Dende can wish for them to be transported. Goku says no. The planet explode. They do the final bout between Final Form Frieza and Full Power Frieza and Goku. Goku's mercy. He flies off. We think that he dies in the explosion of the planet. Guru, within the first few minutes of them passing, notices Nail and Piccolo's merging, but he passes the Elder Ship to Mori, the first villager that had Dende and cargo in it. We also do get to learn because Guru is an ancient, he knows the name of Kami and Piccolo's fusion. So we get to learn their name here, which it's up to the community to make it, but I just wanted to say, hey, Guru is a very old being that would have seen Kami and Piccolo together, so he would have noticed who they were now that he's met Piccolo. And he can feel Kami in the distance. He passes away. Mori's the new Grand Elder. 1 year later, they use the Namekian Dragon Balls to bring back Krillin, Yamcha, and they were debating on who they should bring back with the third wish. And here's another permadeath. Tien gets brought back, but Chaozu feels like he has been left behind by the group, and he thinks that because of his dwarfism and how he is, he feels like Tien has taken responsibility for him, and Tien has been too worried about looking after Chaozu that he's holding himself back. So Chaozu stays in the afterlife. That way Tien can move on naturally. And because this is his second death, because he died to DKP, this is his second death, so the Earth Dragon Balls can't do anything. So once the Namekians are off to their new planet, which is what they use the Earth Dragon Balls for, that's it. And we lose Kami's ship because they use it. So basically, not only Launch and Lunch are out, but Chaozu is out. I wanted to give proper reason why these characters are just gone. Because they're always pushed in the background, and it's sad to see, but I'd like them to be not forgotten. I want them to have purpose in their death, or the reason why they're not around anymore. Let's see. And Chaozu pressures Tien to continue his dream as trying to be a master of a new school to kind of make up for their previous master of the Crane School, and try to bring honor on that name again. And hey, make Roshi as a master proud. Like I said, the Earth Dragon Balls are used to make new Namek. They send them off with Kami's ship. Goku is confirmed to be alive by Purunga because they first tried to call him, but because he doesn't want to be brought back, he doesn't want to be transported because he's getting trained on Yodrat. But at the very end of the episode, Frieza's ship is coming down, and there's 2 power levels that are equivalent to Frieza's, and they have that, they feel Frieza's presence, and they feel someone who's very similar to Frieza, and that's the end of episode 15. Episode 16 is Mecha Frieza King Cold, Future Trunks, Super Saiyan Future Trunks, the death of Mecha Frieza and King Cold. It's a very quick process. Trunks explains the requirements for Super Saiyan. That way Vegeta can start on the path of becoming a Super Saiyan, and possibly Gohan looking into it. So explaining, hey, you don't need to be a full-blooded to become a Super Saiyan. Also, you only just need to be a certain power level to become one. And Vegeta at this point has surpassed that requirement, so all he needs to do is go on the path to become one. He shows off Goku's arrival. It's Goku versus Trunks real quick. We see Trunks whisper to Goku. We don't get to we don't get to see the information displayed to us, but he leaves Piccolo kind of summaries the points that the Z fighters need to know because he's got good ears again. And he gives the Z fighters the rundown of just, hey, in 3 years' time, the androids are gonna come. That boy was from the future. He's come to warn us. And we get into History of Trunks as a special. Okay, so I'll return to the top when I'm done. I'm trying to make this quick because I do have only a few minutes left. So we see Goku and Trunks' conversation. So instead of, we just saw them whisper in episode 16, here we actually get Trunks explaining the whole thing. So History of Trunks is Trunks explaining to Goku what has happened in the future. And then let's see here. So Goku on his deathbed, everyone around him except for Bulma. So Bulma's not in like a surrounding of Goku. Baby Trunks is in a cradle by Vegeta. We see Bulma working on a possible cure because they have that big brother, big sister, and little brother vibe still going. That they are best friends. They are siblings from another mother. And she is doing a Black Panther too, where you're trying to save this person you care about. You're trying to do a cure to this person you care so much about, but because you're too worried about trying to solve everything, you miss the person passing away. You see everyone like breaking down. You see Vegeta losing someone that's so formidable to a virus of all things. So he can't believe that such a strong warrior is gone. And then Bulma shows up, seeing that she has missed her last few moments with her best friend, just because of her wait time to the cure. I wanted to show Bulma's relationship with Goku in this more, and I also wanted to show that she just doesn't give up. Because she's always someone that tries to find and solve an issue. Sometime later, the androids attack, destroy West City. One by one, the Z Fighters fall. Piccolo, Super Saiyan, Vegeta, and Krillin. No. The remaining are Piccolo, Super Saiyan, Vegeta, and Krillin. So Tien and Yamcha are dead, I believe. Is the only two others. Gohan goes to find the balls for Bulma. They wish for the androids to be they're trying to have them removed to another planet or destroyed if possible. And they're trying to do this against a time attack because when they kill Piccolo, there is no more Dragon Balls. Because Kami still exists at this point. So they're about to make the wish when Dragon Ball Super's canon comes in. The Pilaf gang shows up, ruin the wish to stop the androids by asking for them to be young, and they become toddlers, but because they made the wish, which is bad timing because the Dragon Balls are used up and Piccolo dies, making them turn to stone. So going back to the fight, Vegeta is knocked out of Super Saiyan and killed, and then Krillin trying to talk no jutsu them down. He gets shot in the face by both beams to kind of show their synchronization, but we don't see the androids. I'm very similar to what I did with Frieza. These are supposed to be big threats, so I don't want these guys to be shown until that a big fight happens or it's about to happen. So we just see fingers come out, one female, one male, with their sleeves showing, and them using beams to kill Krillin, just like they show in the retelling in the original DBZ. Years later, Trunks is a preteen, leaves future Bulma for to save a bunker. So there are several bunkers and little camps that they set up in the future. Trunks goes to save one that is radioed to be under attack, but he's too late. It's gone, and in his rage, he's about to run off to attack the androids for killing these people. But Gohan, with an arm already missing, so he doesn't, like, he's already got the one arm cut off. He stops Trunks and returns him to Bulma. Trunks is the leader of the Gohan is the leader of the rebellion, because he's one of the only few fighters. Bulma is head of research and resources. Due to like normal supplies being low, she's in researching mode to try to get like an alternate food source, alternate shelters, because resources are going to be thin because of the amount of the androids destroying factories and crops and other things. So they're trying to set up a new way to do stuff and showing off more of a scholar Gohan, because just because he's fighting doesn't mean Gohan doesn't have a brain on him. Future Gohan is the assistant to Bulma, and it helps trying to get more, helps research other alternate methods of resources. Bulma is showing the time machine's blueprints to Gohan, and Trunks trying to figure out why he stopped him earlier in the day to stop revenging, and that's when Gohan explains that his arm was taken off because he wanted to get revenge for everyone who's died in the past. During his teenage years, he rushed off and almost got killed, losing his arm. And it's only to a certain Afro hero and his daughter getting the attention away from him that he lived. So Hercule and Videl stepped in to save him because he was still one of the only few people who can fight the androids. They tried to save one of their only saviors, and they died for it. So Videl and Hercule are dead for trying to save Gohan in this one. And we kind of we don't get to, we see a teenage Videl here. We see Trunks and Bulma help do the time machine. Gohan trains Trunks to like go Super Saiyan, and they're just right there on the line. But Gohan is trying to get a rage out of him, but because he's only seen, like, he has unattached anger, he doesn't know anyone that's died at this point, because everyone ran and got into hiding before he could remember. So there was a day when crews were looking for some of the materials for the alternate research, when the androids discover them, and with their lives in danger and the materials are rare, Trunks and Gohan go save them. Trunks helps the crew get away as Gohan fights off the androids. And while Gohan is doing decent against the androids because he's fought them for so long, with the crew safe, Trunks returns to help Gohan, but it's already too late. He's been killed, and because of seeing his master / best friend dead, that's his chance. That's his tether to break, and he becomes a Super Saiyan off of that. Before rushing off, he remembers why what Gohan told him, so he calms down, secures his Super Saiyan, goes home to live another day, and then a young adult Trunks helps his mom by putting the finishing touches on the time machine and set out for adventure to the past with the medication for Goku, because we've seen when Goku died, she had a very basic thing that would have most likely preserved him for a little bit longer, but they needed a little bit longer to keep him alive. And one of the biggest things that Gohan left behind, and one of his more like motivational things that he's told people, is the only thing you need is hope. And they write that on the time machine in his memory. Moving on, we have Bardock, father of Goku. I have to do this like bing bing ba boom. Basically, it's the actual special, not the Dragon Ball Super version. We see them trying to take over a planet. We see the telekinesis, so we see all of Team Bardock. Bardock gets jumped and given telepathic power, like the future seeing, like predictability powers. They wait for the night to become great apes. They destroy everything. Come morning, they do that. They're cooking some of the locals, showing off their Saiyan stuff, and then Bardock asks his squad about home life. Fasha is a single. Fasha, the female of the group, she is not wanting to find a mate, but she is trying. She holds and wants to break multiple records for the lower class. So Fasha is basically an Olympic person for the Saiyan race because she just wants to do whatever she can and show that the lower class isn't something to scoff at. Seejes, which I believe is the plus-sized man, he is rated as the ugliest Saiyan, has no mate, but he is one of the few people who's experimented on food, and he has become someone who's researched food and edibility. That way, when they're on a planet, they can eat certain things because of his research. Tora has a mate and is a close friend to Bardock from youth, and he is the next in line to become a middle-class general like Bardock. Borgos, which is the tall man with like the middle hairline, he is a sub-race of Saiyans who appears affected by their first great ape transformation, and basically he's like the eyebrowless looking Saiyans. So basically, when he was young, he became great ape. When he returned, his face had the structure of a great ape, and it was just stuck like that ever since. And this is a sub race. And basically, why I did this is to explain that every single Team Bardock has something special about them. And because of this defect, he has some control over his ape form. And he is also revealed to have another mate, and he is the father of Raditz in my rewriting. So Raditz is connected to Team Bardock, but not being the son of Bardock himself. Telepath jumps them. They return to Vegeta, the planet. The squad, except for Bardock, are requested to a planet by Frieza. Bardock, using the time to return home, he meets with Professor Guinea, where she is preparing dinner. Quickly mentions that Turles. So Turles, to explain what happened with him, a Tree of Might, he has went missing because he was a rebel against the Saiyan standard in society. So he went on a mission to stop some space pirates for taking some of the Frieza Force supplies, and went missing on the mission. So that's why Turles survived, is because he went on a mission but went off the books. They go to the labs to see Kakarot, who's only a few weeks old, and as Bardock goes to touch his hand to the glass, an emergency beacon from his squad goes off. He goes to see the planet. Dodoria is there killing the last of, I think, I'll say that Fasha. He was killing off Fasha. And once all the rest of the Frieza Force and Dodoria leave, he sees the crime scene. He finds Tora, who is very near death, explains why they got killed is because they are one of the few barriers to stop Frieza from killing the Saiyans. And basically, while we're heading this way, he's heading back to Vegeta to warn everybody. But in this thing, Frieza has already killed the king and calls all Saiyans back to the planet except for Vegeta, who so Vegeta's group isn't like left alone because Frieza thinks he got potential. They're left alone as a twisted trophy. That way, hey, these are the last of my prey. They are a zoo to me. So switching back to Vegeta, we learned that his mother, the Queen, was the fan-made Goku's mother. So back in the day, there was like a long-haired, red-haired Saiyan woman. I'm pointing to be Vegeta's mother. She has a different hair color, and that explains why Vegeta has a different hair color and is more brownish in this thing, because she's another race of Saiyans who has a defect in like DNA, where other species, their hair color would take precedence over the black. And they're kind of more of a hybrid, and then that explains why Vegeta has brown hair color. The Queen was assassinated by someone who was trying to kill baby Prince Vegeta. And this is why Vegeta is a bodyguard, to try to protect his life. Bardock tries to warn everyone, but he is laughed at. Raditz is on the mission, by the way, because he's a kiss ass to the royal family. That is something I forgot to mention. Back to Bardock real quick. He sees the future with the Namek Saga, but dies to Frieza. And that is it for Namek Saga, future of history of Trunks, and all that. So anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.